Now, with the advent of electric vehicles, we've seen a slew of models wanting to be everything and anything all at once. But what we have right here just might be the solution to a lot of people's problems, especially with mobility in the city and out. What's going on, guys? Roy Robles here from Zigwheels.Ph, and today we'll be reviewing this one right here, the Bestune NAT E05, the next automatic taxi. So let's start off with the exterior aesthetic. Now, I know that you guys have been seeing this car all around town and wondering what in the world is that brand. Well, finally, we're here to check it out for you. We've got this nice looking front end right here. Now, you got no grills here because you don't have any engines under the hood. Now, a lot of people seem to be more familiar with a two-box MPV or SUV design, but Bestune actually calls this a one-box design. Now, if you're familiar with a lot of those Japanese taxis right there moving along around Tokyo, around those Japanese cities, you got this right here. It kind of resembles a lot of that particular aesthetic, and I gotta say, it's a breath of fresh air to see something so mundanely spectacular, in my opinion. You got this full all-white exterior right here. You got a full LED DRL, and once you open up that headlamp, you got a light bar running across the front end of the Bestune NAT. I like this particular divots right here underneath the light bar. It gives you this nice, interesting look. It kind of breaks away from the monotony of the exterior. The most interesting thing about the Bestune NAT is that on the curved side, the passenger door is actually a sliding door. How nifty is that? I mean, imagine going home from the airport, riding in one of these things, and the left side door actually slides out. That certainly is a lot fancy and makes things easier to get in and out. Plus, you don't have to worry about hitting any pedestrians or bicycles or any camotes trying to pass through this side right here. That's actually an amazing feature if you ask me. Plus, it's got another feature, a safety feature that I'm going to show you once we're inside. Once we're going to take a full look at this. Don't worry about it. Anyway, right here on the side profile, it's pretty much doesn't have any character lines to speak with, because again, their main priority is building a box that can fit as many people on the inside as possible. Should I say a lot more space on the inside as possible. This is a 5-seater, but they want to make sure that you are comfortable on the inside while driving along. Still have 190 millimeters of ground clearance right here, making it easy to go through any pockmarked roads or any hump right there in Metro Manila or any city in the Philippines. Got 16-inch alloy wheels with that brushed, polished aluminum look for those wheels that look pretty nice in my opinion. Plus 215/55 R17 tires. Another interesting part right here is that the side mirrors seem to be finished in this faux carbon fiber trim, but that's probably the only hint of sportiness in this car. Plus, you got a repeater signal as well right there going on. Now, you got this interesting thing right here going on in the back here as well. You got a blacked out trim right here that kind of runs across the entire rear of the Bestune NAT, and these LED tail lamps, they kind of fold in a butterfly-like position, giving it a more Euro MPV kind of look, or should I say Euro van kind of look. Again, you can see here, finally, you can see some sort of branding, Bestune. That's probably the only clue that I have whenever I see one of these cars on the road, and I'm asking myself, what's that car? And I can barely read it right here. Finally seeing it up close, I now know it's a Bestune. Got a hint of a spoiler up top, a shark's fin antenna, and a manual opening liftgate, giving you access to this ginormous space right here. So imagine coming from the airport, you've got a lot of luggage. You can put it all right here in the back, no problems. You can probably fit in about 4 of your big luggages right here in the back, upright, or even if you stack it right here, that's not going to be a problem. Those rear seats actually fold down, but they're not a 60/40 split configuration, and they don't fold flat. You don't have any spare tire because this is an EV, but you do get a fix-it-flat solution for your needs. Now, again, the overall exterior of the Bestune NAT features that more purpose-driven paradigm that Bestune was trying to envision. The NAT abbreviation itself stands for Next Automatic Taxi, and I can certainly see what that purpose is for here. There's no pretensions of sportiness. There's no pretensions that this is going to be a fast car, but it does promise a lot of space on the inside, and that's what it might offer as soon as we check out the interior. So let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so we're inside the Bestune NAT, and right away, what jumps right at me is how driver-centric the interior is. I mean, the front end at least. Now, there are driver-centric cars and there are driver-centric cars. This particular driver, though, is the hard-working one and wants to be as comfortable as you can as you drive. The biggest clue is this armrest right here on the side, which is pretty nifty. It's adjustable and easy for you to grab on the steering wheel and cruise away. Plus, the seat actually reclines to up to 170 degrees. So there you go. So while you're waiting for whatever fare needs to come and arrive, and once it does, it just adjusts right away. That's pretty neat. I mean, this is why I kind of appreciate manual adjusting seats now better than electronic seats. Also, it's got cooled seats too, so you got that going on for you as well as the driver. Now again, a lot more driver-centric details right here. You got a USB port right here on the center console as usual, but looking at the left side, there's another USB port. Gives you a clue what this car or who this car is really made for, those ride-hailing apps, because ride-hailing drivers would usually have multiple phones all around. Got a phone right here in the middle, phone right here on the left side as well, and you need a place for you to charge those phones. Right here in the middle, you've got a huge touchscreen infotainment system without Apple CarPlay and without Android Auto. You do get Easy Connection here. Now, the Easy Connection app is actually a way for you to mirror your phone to the screen. Now, here's the thing about this car though. As an EV, still purpose-driven EV, they still have a lot of physical buttons. You got your AC dial right here, nicely weighted, nicely nice, and you got your AC fan button, or fan dial here as well. So if you need to adjust your fan and your temperature, it's easy to do so. Plus a volume knob. You won't find any volume knobs right here, but you can find it right here on the steering wheel. That's nice. Your drive mode selector, your hazard button, your AC controls. Turn off the music. Right here as well on the screen. No muss, no fuss. And again, I appreciate that these cars, and the shifter, it's a rotary style shifter right here on the dashboard as well, freeing up as much space as possible right here in the middle for all your stuff. You can put your bottles right there. Actually, you got a bottle holder right here, pretty big. You can fit in a huge, one of those huge thermal bottles right there in the middle for a whole day's worth of drive. You even have, well, you actually don't have any glove boxes right here, but you do have a pretty sizable shelf for all your stuff there, but you do have a cubby right there in the middle for some random items here and there. The steering wheel is adjustable, so getting your optimum driving position is easy. Unfortunately, you won't be able to adjust it for reach though, but it's easy to move your seat forward and back, up and down. You got a sunglass holder right there on top. You got all your manual switches right here on the right side. You got your parking button, your parking lever is there, your automatic brake hold, traction control, headlamp leveler. Everything is easy and within reach. And I'd say if you were someone who's driving a car the whole day, this is optimum for you guys. This is definitely one of the most comfortable cars that you'd be in, and it's in a purpose-driven car. It's in what is basically a fleet car. Good job, Bestune. Anyway, that's all the things I can say about the front end. There's really no muss, no fuss here. You don't even get vanity lights on the sun visors. You do have your buttons right here on the top. You have this button right here to open or close the rear doors, lights. Very basic. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the business end of this car, the second row seats, and see what we can find right there. Now, when I say that this is the business end of the NAT or the Bestune NAT, I most certainly mean it, because once you're here on the second row seats, you just realize that this car is tailor-made for you, the passenger. Actually, check out the seats right here. It shows that this is the VIP seating because you got the orange trim right here on the right side, and you got a lot of space to work with. This is certainly good. I mean, you can even fold this front row passenger seat down like so to add even more leg room like this. Just make sure that you ask your driver first before you do so, because it does so quite violently and aggressively going down like that. But even if you have these seats up anyway, and even slid all the way back so that you can give more space to the front passenger, still have this much leg room right here on the inside. That's pretty much like a light year's worth of leg room. Remember, you got 2,850 millimeters of wheelbase to work with right here, which is pretty much on par with a lot of mid-sized SUVs in the market. And this is just a 2-row. So they stretch out as much as possible these seats right here to give you as much leg room as they can. This is pretty smart, pretty nifty. Remember that I told you on the outside that there is a safety feature right here on the inside, on the sliding door side. Right here, you got a rear view mirror to check out if there are any passengers or any pedestrians or even bikers or even camotes driving by on the wrong side of the road, I might add, before getting down the vehicle. You got nice cup holders right here. You got hooks, so if you do your shopping, you can actually put your stuff right there, no problems. And the aforementioned lever right here to slide the seat forward and back. That's nice. You got an aircon vent right there in the bottom. And I gotta say, the floor mats, even though it has a different color compared to the seats or everything else, it's very welcoming. That particular stripe, those colors right there, it just wants to welcome you inside the Bestune NAT. And you got lots of headroom on top to work with too. You got a 12-volt socket right here and the center armrest. If you do so want to choose to use it, you have USB ports there to charge your stuff as well. So we're now behind the wheel of the Bestune NAT E05. NAT if you're nasty. Anyway, NAT stands for Next Automatic Taxi, because this will be your next automatic taxi. But I'd like to make the argument that this could also be the perfect family car. But let's talk about that later on. In my opinion, one of the most underserved segments in the local car market are taxi drivers, limo drivers, and ride-hailing drivers. Because, like I said earlier, what these drivers use are practically passenger cars that have already been purposed for whatever purpose they need to use for. Family cars, sedans, MPVs, and then they just go ahead and use it for those particular services. So right here you have an electric motor that makes 160 horsepower and 310 newton-meters of torque, all that power going to the front wheels. It's mated to a direct transmission, so no need to switch gears here and there. But what's important here is that it's got a 55 kilowatt hour battery, which is more than enough to get you where you need to be and can reach you up to 420 kilometers based on of course Bestune's rating according to their testing. But here's the deal: usually when you drive around in these types of cars and they give you some sort of range that's available, you would expect that would probably be 70. The real amount, or the real range, would be around 75% of whatever they quote. Right now, I'm actually doing around 8 kilometers per kilowatt hour, which means that if I keep going at this rate that I'm driving in the city, on the highway, usually some really heavy traffic situations, I can reach at around 380, even up to 400 kilometers at the rate I'm currently driving at. So it's really close to whatever rating that they gave us. And a lot of that has to do with the power rating. Like I said, you don't have a lot of electronics on the inside that's going to drain out the battery. And at the same time, the power that the engine or the electric motor makes doesn't drain out too much of the battery. You don't have sky-high horsepower or sky-high torque that's going to go ahead and increase the power drain substantially. You just have enough power and have enough torque to at least sip just a few kilowatts from that battery as you drive along. And that's what's important. Plus, the drive modes that you have right here, it's normal, eco, and you'd be expecting sport, right? Nope, it's Eco Plus. So it's really here to sip as little energy as possible from that battery, but still maintain a pretty fast acceleration. 0 to 100 in the Bestune NAT gets you around just a hair above 10 seconds. And if you imagine that much power is still on the lower end of what an EV can do, you'd appreciate this even more so. All right, so driving this around, there's nothing really there's nothing very special or fancy about it. You got McPherson struts up front, torsion bar in the back. Don't expect this car to have luxury car levels of NVH, because this is no luxury car. This is a family car. This is a ride-hailing car. To be honest, it's not that bad. Sound insulation is kept at the bare minimum, and it's okay. It's definitely all right. The only thing that you hear right now is the hum coming from the electric motor, which is very modern sounding, I might add. It sounds like an airplane about to to fly up, but that's to be expected with these. There's no fake sounds here at all, though. That's appreciated. Safety features include dual airbags right here in the front. You got ABS, electronic brake force distribution. You got automatic brake hold. You got a rear camera with guidelines. You got rear proximity sensors. The standard stuff. You got cruise control right here. You even have a speed limiter. It's basically very standard, but those standard features are actually, they're very reasonable, especially for a car at this price point. Let's talk about pricing. Pricing for the Bestune NAT starts at 1,288,000 pesos. You heard that right, 1,288,000 pesos. For a car of this caliber, I definitely say that that price is perfect, especially for those looking for an entire fleet of these to use for their ride-hailing services, or for their taxi services, or even airport car services, even hotels. At that price point, you can definitely work on a couple of these, even more so for your fleet. But like I said, it's perfect for fleet use, but it's also amazing as a family car. Hear me out. These seats right here, this just screams dad mode to me, or even mom mode, because you can fit your aqua flask right here in the middle. Even those really huge ones, they actually fit down there perfectly. You can wait for your kids, you can wait in traffic right here, you can sleep it off. And the rear seats, they're more than spacious enough for even 3 or even to 3 kids. And putting an ISOFIX seat right there in the back is absolutely going to be absolutely no sweat at all. Plus, if you have all this space around, you can actually talk to your kids right there. I'm trying reaching out right there in the back because I have one of my bags right there. I can barely reach out to it. It's that huge. And if you need to charge this up, no worries, because you do have a fast charging capability from 30 to 80%, 30 minutes. 0 to 100% in a slow charger, 8 hours. So overnight charging is no problem. So yes, if you're looking for a perfect family car, this just might be it. You might be in the market for a more traditional MPV, whether it be diesel or electric or even hybrid. Then of course, if you're in the market as well for a mid-sized SUV, but you're not going to use your mid-sized SUV for off-roading, you don't really need the more rugged side of the mid-sized SUV. You just wanted the space. This here is a great value proposition, especially at the price, 1,288,000 pesos. And you can actually start to be one of those people driving around in a car where people are wondering, what is that car? Then everyone would just be wondering if you're driving a Japanese or a Chinese car. This is just so much for the money. So that's our full review of the Bestune NAT. In my opinion, one of the most overlooked at segment of the market are those ride-sharing cars, those ride-hailing app drivers, those taxi drivers. What they're doing basically is using an already existing platform for their fleet use. So they're either using some compromised car, some entry-level car for that purpose, which gives it a lot of compromise, especially for the passenger. But with the Bestune NAT, this particular purpose-driven EV is definitely something that's purposely built, made for the passenger as well as the driver, as you've seen on the inside. And there's no compromise in this one. And at this particular price point, I think it fits best in that particular place where a lot of fleet car users might find attractive. So go ahead and drop me a comment in the comment section down below. Tell me if this is the perfect MPV for you, or if it's the one that you would rather ride home in from the airport or anywhere else, or would you rather own one just for the looks of it. And while you're at it, subscribe to our channel and hit that notification icon so you won't miss any of our videos. It's been Roy Robles from Zigwheels.Ph. I'll see you guys next time.